And that's exactly what I got. I do believe in manifestation, saying it out to the universe. Sometimes it might take a little bit. Hi everyone, it's your girl Jacqueline Belle, and welcome to another episode of the Divorcee Diaries. Now, if you're new to my channel, I am a divorcee. I'm a world traveler, solo world traveler most of the time, and I'm an entrepreneur. And my channel is all about those three things and making sure that you're focused on your wellness, your happiness, and your freedom, financially, emotionally, and personally. So today, I'm gonna talk to all of you about my journey 4 years after divorce. So you all might remember, especially those of you that have been with my channel for a while, that 2 years ago this month, I shared with all of you my thoughts and reflections on being 2 years post-divorce. And I thought it would be nice to share another 2 years later where I am, what I'm doing, where I'm at personally, professionally, and emotionally, just to let all of you kind of see the natural progression, at least in the perspective of one divorcee. So now I'm going to go into where I was 4 years ago. 4 years ago, personally, I was just separating from my ex-husband. We were in the middle of having our house gutted, also furnished and put on the market so that we can get our house sold. I was in the process of moving to my new apartment, and I was deeply sad. And of course, with the dissolution of a marriage, that was a lot to take in. Professionally, I was in a good place at that time. I was 29, and I was, maybe making around $70,000. Professionally, I had a job that I loved, and I had a great boss, so professionally I was doing well. Personally, emotionally, it was a shit show. Can I say shit show? Shit show. So that's where it was 4 years ago. Now, where I was when I made my last video, hopefully you'll see it here. If not, it'll be here. You can click on it. But 2 years ago, I made a video about where I was, how I was doing, and what I envisioned for myself when I was first starting my divorce journey 2 years prior to that, 4 years from today, from right now. And I remember all my reflections, right? Because at that point, I was 2 years into living in my apartment, and I remember I just wanted so many new things, right, in my life. I was thinking, oh, I'm only gonna be at this apartment for 2 years. I'm gonna be traveling the world, all these things. But as y'all know, COVID was rampant. It was 2021. We were all at home. So my plans had changed, and a lot of my hopes and dreams that I had for myself post-divorce in 2 years, because I did have plans for myself in 2 years that I had to make so that I could reach for something, that I could have a goal for something. They were, I would say, met. They just took a little bit longer because things began to change very quickly just after I made that video, and I'll talk a little bit more about that 4 years ago today. We can talk about that a little bit as well. So personally at that time, I was, and 2 years ago in my videos, you'll see, was living in a great apartment, but I just knew that I didn't want to be there for longer than 2 years. It was like a beautiful apartment. And I just knew though that I was needing to get out, because I told myself 2 years and I'm out and I'm moving to a different thing. I'm gonna buy a new house, all of these things. And it did take a little bit more time, but not too much more time. So personally, I was in a good place, I would say. I was ready for something new. I was also going through some changes at that time personally in a relationship, but it was something that I was, open to, and I've been through worse, and it was certainly not the worst that it could be there. But I would say that during that time professionally, even, I was doing very well, actually. I was a regional director, making mid to high $80,000 in my salary. I was doing really well, actually, in that regard. So year 2 was not bad, but definitely, as you'll see in the video, and I'm in a much better place, of course, emotionally, much better than where I was 2 years prior to that. But let's talk about where we are now, 4 years later. I'd like to highlight these 7 things that for me have been wonderful, again, within the personal, the professional, and the emotional realm of things. So personally, I would say I have been in, I had a lot of my dreams come true. You know how I said 2 years later, like in 2 years when I first initially got divorced, I said in 2 years I'm gonna have my own house. Well, it took more like 2.5 years, but I found my own house, which you all know about because you've all probably seen my video as well on how I bought my first house all by myself. Yes, that is true. I bought it all by myself. And you can too, in case you're wondering. Definitely watch for my video on my new house and how I did that and all of that in my channel. But I've got a new house. I picked out this house myself. I designed it the way that I wanted to. I love a white aesthetic. I love modern amenities. It's all worked out so well for me. And I've personally found that very rewarding. Also personally, I have visited more than 20 different countries, half of which, I believe 11 of them, have been visited on my own. And that's just for countries. I've been to numerous cities within various countries on my own. But just to know that half of the places I've been to, 4 years after my divorce and at the age of 33, has been amazing to know and realize. And you really have to count your wins, right? Because that's definitely a win for myself to know that in the past 4 years, because that's really when I started my solo traveling journey, I've been to 11 different countries on my own. Like, that's amazing. That's amazing. So that's been what's going on personally that I've really enjoyed. Professionally, I've got to say things have been wonderful. Y'all, I dreamed of having a 6-figure salary for my full-time job and working from home. And that's exactly what I got. I do believe in manifestation, saying it out to the universe. Sometimes it might take a little bit. Professionally, I feel like I'm also thriving. I have a 6-figure income and I get to work from home and nomadically, which I've done over the past, since 2 years ago, and that's different. I also have been able to have 2 businesses, which is something I'm so proud to say, and to be able to say that I'm an entrepreneur, helping other people establish that for themselves is something I take very seriously, and I'm really happy to be able to share that with others. And emotionally, I would say I'm in a very peaceful place. I am a much stronger person, especially being a homeowner, having to do all this stuff yourself. I'm much more independent even than where I was 2 years ago. And I don't harbor, any ill will with my past and like where I was and how I've been. I feel very fulfilled just by myself, being with myself and with me. And that makes me really happy to think that 4 years ago, how desperate and sad I was to find myself being very free and excited and ambitious and feeling peace in my heart and happiness that way has been really helpful for me. So that is the conclusion of my post-divorce 4 years later episode, and I hope that you all found this very helpful. If you like this video, can you please hit the like button and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell just so that you can make sure that you don't miss any videos from here on out. So thank you so much. If you made it this far, can you please put down the number 4 in the comments so that I know that you were able to finish it. It would mean so much to me. The likes would mean so much to the algorithm. So thank you again for watching another episode of Divorcee Diaries, and I'll see you next time.